Everyone can't be an influencer or a content creator. Is Instagram the new business card? And you're not crazy. Things are definitely weird. Hey, what's up? I'm Chardonnay, a podcaster, videographer, and creative entrepreneur. Because nowadays, you need about 10 jobs to cover the cost of living because inflation is real. Anyway, I wanted to sit down and have a chit chat because I have a lot of new faces here on my YouTube channel, both from a few of my sewing videos as well as from my Instagram. And I wanted to give those who are new to my channel some context as well as keep the returning folks updated on what's been going on behind the scenes. So, a while back, I mentioned I wanted to start putting myself out there more as a videographer because most of my clients have strictly come to me through word of mouth, and I wanted to see what was possible if I actually made an effort to start putting myself out there more and intentionally marketing. Let's keep it real. It's been layoff season for a lot of folks this past year and a half or so, and I was one of those people. Thank God for me, I had both an emergency fund, a few freelance gigs lined up, as well as my sewing hobby to kind of help keep me sane as I ride this job market wave. However, I kind of wanted to have a group discussion, an internet family reunion, or some sort of collective conversation about what I'm noticing in these internet streets. Especially as a millennial, I've been around to watch VHS tapes, cassette tapes, CDs, DVDs, the Apple iPod that you shake in order to go to the next song. And I've also have been the person left responsible for figuring out how to discard all of this stuff once those things start to phase out. Similarly, as I started to dabble into applying for jobs within this job market, I realized that as I was applying for roles, a lot of applications were asking for my Instagram account. Now, I guess because I work within media, that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm also curious to know, are companies hiring for my skill as a videographer and whether or not I have an online presence? It's a little odd for me. Asking for your Instagram account and social media handles is a part of the job application. Even asking someone for their gender is a little off putting for me because, from my perspective, it's like, why does this even matter? As long as I'm able to get the job done, why does all this other stuff matter? But I'm open to being educated around either of these topics. Maybe it's something I'm missing, but right now, that's just kind of been my perspective on some of the application questions as I have been exploring the job market. So please do share in the comments, what are your thoughts on jobs asking for your social media handles, especially if you are working or applying for roles outside of media. But here's where it gets a little bit weirder for me at least, okay? Even within this year, I've gone to a few networking events, and let's say I happen to pass someone my business card after we've been connecting and chatting for a bit, and I will go ahead and pass them my business card so that way we can stay connected. And I've had people who would say, actually, do you have an Instagram? Not even ask me for my LinkedIn account, but my Instagram. Now, to take this a bit further, okay, I have even been that person. Let's just say someone's trying to holler at me. Let's say I've been at the grocery store a few times or maybe at a rooftop bar trying to live my best life, and someone that's actually trying to date me, they have asked me for my Instagram account instead of my phone number. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Is Instagram really the new business card? So I've come to terms that maybe I'm just late. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one who is late to the game, but Instagram is definitely the new portfolio. So I've been starting to treat it as such. And as I've kind of been exploring the job market, I'm also realizing, as much as it's not verbally being said, but especially in my field, working within video as well as within media, people are not only assessing you for what you have on your resume, but they are also looking to see if you have some sort of online presence. And for most people that are looking for that, I mean, I get it, because on one end, it's like, yeah, if you are looking to hire someone to make YouTube videos for you or YouTube videos for your business or your brand, you want to see if they have the skill set or the capability. So why not check out their personal YouTube platform or their personal social channels? But then on the other hand, it's like, if I have a strong online presence and if I start doing for myself what I would typically do for businesses, then why would I, or anybody else for that matter, why would anyone be applying to work at a company if they can do it for themselves? It's like, do companies and businesses not see the correlation? Now, this is my opinion, but I think this is one of the major contributing factors to why it feels like everyone is out here trying to be a content creator. I think that there is this sentiment that, content creators or influencers are making a ton of money just showing things that they're naturally doing in their day-to-day lives, and people are just like, okay, if I can just live my life and show people how I'm using tools that naturally arise and I'm naturally engaging and, utilizing my life, then why not do that? I'm thinking most people are like me, where they're like, I'm just going to do this for myself instead of putting all this effort behind a company or another business or a brand. I might as well just put the energy into doing this for myself. And that's just the way I've been viewing it within the last 6 months or so. I might change my mind later on down the line about everything I'm saying, but that's just where I'm currently at. And it kind of makes sense for some people, especially for those who are in industries where you may feel like you get hired to do one job, but then once you step into the position, it's really like five other jobs labeled under one job title. So, similarly, I can see how, especially people working within media, how they go from, if companies want me to film, edit, script, write, produce, and be talent by having an online presence outside of my day job, then why not just put that same energy I put into someone else's business? Why not put that same energy into myself and just becoming a business myself? Like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I am a business man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I have been doing over here on my end. Now, these are just, again, my assumptions of why I'm seeing a lot more people turning to content creation or deciding to pursue entrepreneurship instead of a typical 9 to 5. Now, there might be other reasons why everyone is trying to do content creation, but again, y'all, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'm just over here making assumptions based off of what I'm seeing. And I know it's not just my industry that's doing this, because fun fact, many years ago when I first moved to the Bay Area, I worked at a local lounge and a bar because I wanted to meet people locally. And what better way to meet people when you first move to a new city than to work at some sort of social club, an event venue, volunteer, or work at a local bar? I'm one of those introverted, extroverted people who wanted to be out and get to meet and know people, but I don't really like being out all of the time and just wasting money on watered down drinks. Like, if I'm going out, I'm going because I know I'm going to be hanging with some folks that I genuinely enjoy spending time with, or I want to actually be there, or I'm out with some sort of purpose. Otherwise, I'm typically to myself enjoying my own company. But even back then, when I was applying to work at a bar, they would ask me for my Instagram on the job application. No one ever directly said it, but most people were looking to see if I had enough of a following so I could promote the business and be an extension of the business when I was off the clock. Now, I'm not sure all industries do this, but it is certainly a thing. And you are not crazy. If you have been feeling this way or observing this, this is definitely a thing that no one is talking about, and it's just happening. And that's what's making it so weird for me. So, hopefully, this video is for people who are like me trying to navigate getting back into the job market after a layoff, or navigating pursuing entrepreneurship or content creation for the very first time or full time in that matter. um I just want to say you're not alone, because it's wild out here. It is wild in these internet streets within the job market. Just things, I'm not going to say, I'm going to stop saying weird and wild. Things are just different. They are new. And I guess you can say I'm just learning to sit with and adapt to all these changes. And for additional context, because there's layers to this, okay? There is the technology aspect of all of this, okay? Now, I'm going to get real specific here because I specifically remember, and when I say this, it may sound like I'm old. I'm not old. You're not old if you are feeling this way or remembering any of these things. I just think we have never sat down and had a collective discussion about the rate and the pace at how fast technology, tools, and things are just shifting and changing. They're just happening, and we are left to kind of just scramble and figure things out. But I remember specifically when iPhones started to become more popular, and that started to become the main cell phone device that everybody had. And I remember this one instance in particular where I was just kind of conversing with some people, and this one girl was like, "Yeah." And he had the nerve to text me back. And when he texted me back, it was with a green bubble. And I was just like, in that moment, like, is this what we're doing? We're not responding back to people that have different text message bubbles. It was definitely a thing then. And I think that same thing is happening now as it relates to email addresses. Again, I'm a millennial. And so I am one of those millennials who has kind of been operating with the sentiment as if it's not broke, why try to fix it, or why change it? And what I mean by this is as it relates to email addresses. As I've been kind of putting myself out there as an entrepreneur or exchanging my email with people, I still use a Yahoo email address in some instances, but I've had more people bring to my attention, like, oh, you're using a Yahoo email, or you're using a MSN email, or you're using such and such email. And I'm just like, yeah, since when did email addresses become dated? I still receive messages inside of that inbox. It still works. So, what are you talking about? What are we doing? It's reminding me a lot of the white refrigerator conversation. You get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, again, this same sentiment is happening with video software. For example, I learned how to film and edit on Avid. Once I actually got out into the field post college, a lot of people were editing with Premiere Pro. So I had to self teach myself Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci. It's all about like preference of what clients and even companies or businesses want. But what gets me is I get there's one instance of you have to invest in your craft, but what we're not acknowledging is all these different tools and software. These things cost money and time to learn this. And it's like a hierarchy of what type of technology and tools people are using as well as platforms. And it's like companies are not training you. Companies are not paying for the software and the equipment for you to learn all these different things so you can just be versed on it, okay? And it's like we are in the middle of a pissing contest. There is definitely a pissing contest going on between all these tech companies and tools and platforms that are out here. And as a person, I just feel like I'm in the midst of this contest, left to kind of figure out the skill jobs are not training you to know, but it's an expectation for you to use it and know how to use it and to apply it in these roles. Okay? It's definitely a thing. And I've even heard some people even mention it about like how Canva is starting to be like that universal tool that is a requirement that some companies and jobs and roles are just requiring like you should know how to use this thing. And it's interesting to say the least, okay? And don't get me started about how intense and how long some of these hiring processes are. Some of these jobs that require like you to do editing tests or just like practice um like trial and error runs, especially like designers, people that do like coding and things of that nature. I've even read some of other people's horror stories online about how they have went through the hiring process for a full-time job and then offered a contract after going through an entire interview process for a full-time role. And it's so crazy because I read about it and then it happened to me. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Do companies realize this is why so many people are steering away from the idea of working a dusty desk job? It's because of all of the games. It's because the games you have to play in order to get your foot in the door, as well as the games once you're actually there, of people trying to hold down a position and make themselves and their jobs seem more relevant or more than what it is, just so that way they can keep their job. It's the games. Anyway, before this turns into a long rant, I'm sharing all of this to say that both my Instagram and my YouTube channel is a mix of personal as well as professional because jobs, technology, and people have just made it weird. And the way I see it is I can either be one of those people who sits back and complains about all the changes, or I can lean in and accept it and learn how to make it work for me. So I've personally been trying to figure out how to have a balance between carving out what platforms work best for me, as well as figuring out how I want to engage and use the different types of platforms. Also, since I'm not seeing many people talk about it, I may or may not do a series where I update people on the different tech and tools I'm personally trying. It depends on how well this video performs. So let me know if that's something anyone would be interested in hearing me talk more about. But in the meantime, this YouTube channel is where you will primarily see fashion videos and my sewing projects. And then occasionally you will see videos like this where I share with you all some of the technical updates of what's going on behind the scenes of my creative process because it's all connected. I kind of think in an odd way, I retreated to sewing as a quiet rebellion against all the technical stuff going on behind the scenes. I also share all of this because as a millennial that has seen the transitions of technology, either you can choose to opt out of participating in all the new transitions and phases, or you can lean in and learn how to use the new tech and tools and find ways to utilize it in practical ways. And also use it in ways that feel responsible and isn't overbearing or unauthentic to you. Now that I say this out loud in this moment, that is absolutely and definitely why I have retreated to hobbies like sewing or even going back to platforms like Snapchat. As I'm personally working through finding new ways to build my online presence, accepting the new social dynamics, and learning how to use technology in a way that genuinely fits into my life, it's only right that I retreat to things that feel comfortable, familiar, and a little more approachable while I'm also learning these new tech tools and all the things. So that was a very, very long winded way and slight rant of saying I've just decided to use the internet as my digital diary to document and share the behind the scenes into my creative process and the journey into entrepreneurship because applying for jobs right now feel weird. So as I navigate all of this, try to help me out. Like you all are technically like my digital coworkers now and my creative crew that I'm leaning on for feedback. So don't be afraid to engage with me in the comment section. Don't even think about DMing me on Instagram. It's like 5 different inboxes and all these different ways to communicate to somebody over there. And sometimes I truly don't know what's going on over there, okay? I'm figuring it out the same way some of you all are trying to figure this out as well, okay? I'm figuring this out. Something else I did within this year, specifically over the summer, is I booked a content shoot with another creative entrepreneur so I could batch record some marketing materials, and I've started to roll some of this out over on Instagram. The last time I did a content shoot was a couple years ago, and I like to do these content shoots every now and then as an empathy exercise for myself, especially since I work within video and in media. I like to step in front of the camera every now and then so I can get an idea of how I'm feeling and how others might feel when they step in front of my camera. And then I reflect on my experience. So when I film other people, it helps me to coach them through our session and just making sure that they feel the most comfortable and feel as confident as they possibly can when they step in front of my lens. Later on, I'll do a deep dive into auditing what went into my process, but for now, just let me know what you think. Did anything resonate with you that I touched on within this video? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know if I'm contributing to the chaos or if I am just, you know, adapting and learning and adjusting to the changes. Let me know what you think. Poke around on my website, take a peek at my Instagram. Let me know because I'm in a place where I want to talk to you, not at you. Working in or working with video, especially in this dynamic and this capacity, when I make a podcast or when I make a video, it feels very linear. I'm talking to a device and no one's talking back to me. Okay. So try to help me make this process a little less weird by engaging with me, chat with me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you're thinking and let me know how you are navigating, Instagram and X and Snapchat and YouTube? Are you choosing to just opt out? Like, let me know. Let me know. Holla at your girl. Let me know what's going on. And I'll catch you all in my next video. Bye.